My name is Betsy Ingalls. Thank you for listening today. Included in your DVD package is a little insert that you might want to pull out right now and look at because I think it's a useful assist here, including with the DVD, and you can follow along as I talk. The purpose of this DVD is to teach you awareness. It's to teach you what it is, why you would want it, and how to get it. It's interesting. Awareness is interesting because once you get it, you don't keep it. You have to practice it daily. So what I'd like to give you today are some tools that you can use to help you practice awareness every day. What is awareness? I think it's useful to look at awareness in terms of habits and choice. So let's take an example. How about driving? Have you ever gone from point A to point B and arrived at point B and not know or remember how you got there? Were you aware while you were driving? I don't think so. So clearly that is not awareness. What were you doing? Well, you were in habit. And the habit of driving is so much ingrained in you. Isn't it amazing that you can drive without being aware? That's how powerful our mind and central nervous system actually is. So let's say instead of driving from point A to B unconsciously, how about if when you get in your car, you pay attention to your hands on the steering wheel, you pay attention to what's in front of you, you pay attention to what's moving around you, you pay attention to how your shoulders feel, how they're resting on your rib cage, how you're sitting in the chair. Is that awareness? Well, indeed, I think that is. Are you choosing awareness? Well, yes, you are. You're choosing awareness. So there clearly is a relationship then between awareness and choice and habit. If you are in habit, but you're choosing it, then you're aware of your habit and you have awareness. If you're choosing not to be in habit, that's awareness too. So how do you learn to choose? I think that choice and awareness are best learned in the body, which is why I'm going to be teaching you some movement ideas that you can learn to practice in your body. And with those tools in mind, you can practice daily awareness in your life. I call my principles of awareness, I call them the laws of awareness. And the reason I do that is because there's actually a spiritual component to each one of these principles. And although you don't need to practice them on a spiritual level, indeed, when you can embody these principles in your everyday life, I find that they assist me in the way I live through life every day. The first law is the law of unlimited potential. The second is reversibility. And the third is effortlessness. All of these laws can be practiced and learned with 3 easy ideas in mind: easy movement, sensation, and attention. Let me say it again. Even if you never practiced my laws, never used these principles of awareness to help you, if throughout your day, when you were moving, you practiced easy movement, paid attention to the sensation of the movement, and gave it attention, chances are you would have a lot greater awareness throughout the day. The law of unlimited potential just means don't go to the limit, as far as movement-wise, that is. So when you're moving, don't go as far as you can go. Now, why would that be important? Well, let me take an example. How about when you turn your head to the right? So turn your head to the right and look, I'll do it. I'll look to the right and turn as far as I can go, and I'm focusing on something over there. Now you turn your head to the right and focus, turn it as far as you can go and focus on something. And now come back and look at me. Now turn your head to the right again, but this time don't go as far as you just did. And do it slowly. Easy movement, remember? Pay attention to the sensation. And go to the right and then come back to the center again. And then pause at the center. It's always good when you're doing repetitive movements or when you're at home if you pause in between the movements, because it gives your central nervous system a chance to listen. And the idea here is that your central nervous system is either listening or working. And when your central nervous system is listening and not working, it means it's not in habit. And if it's in habit, it's in the habits that you've been practicing your whole life long. And you might have some extra contracted muscles in there that you're using, or some tightness that's unnecessary. And by not going to the limit and doing your movement easily, you're letting your central nervous system do what it does best, which is to organize your body in a very elegant, simplistic, most efficient, wise way. So turn your head to the right again, just not as far as you can go, just a little bit. And each time you turn and pause and go back, do it a little bit less. And do that a few times. We're actually almost practicing all three laws all at once right here. So stop now. And now turn your head to the right and see if you can, all as far as you can go, and see if you can see further than you could before. Ha-ha! Isn't that fantastic? Can you see that with this practicing of the law of unlimited potential, that you have a greater range of motion? How great is that? The law of effortlessness and the law of reversibility are two laws that actually I'm going to teach together. In fact, effortlessness, or the less the effort, the greater the awareness, the law of effortlessness is something that you can practice in your daily life. That's all it is. It's having a wise body where you're putting the right amount of effort that is needed for the activity at hand. And most of us use more effort than we need to when we do a movement. A good place to practice the law of effortlessness is actually in the principle of unlimited potential or in the principle of reversibility. And what is reversibility? Well, actually, reversibility just means come back the same way you came. It's something in life, we go this way and then you can come back that way. In the case of turning my head, the way I turn my head is first I lean over, if I turn to the left, for example, I'm leaning on my left sits bone. Now my spine is turning, now my shoulder's turning, then my neck is turning, and my head is turning. Let me reverse that, my head, my neck, my shoulder, my spine, and onto my right sits bone now. So that's the law of reversibility, just paying attention to the way you got there and coming back the same way. And if you do it with less effort, what happens? Just guess. Awareness. You become aware of how it is that you use your body, and in the process, if you listen, your central nervous system, let me call it your CNS, your CNS will guide you without effort and have you move more elegantly through life or whatever activity it is that you're doing. So we've talked a lot about awareness here and how it teaches us how to choose. And all you have to do is practice easy movement. Find a movement and do it easily. Sense it. Give it attention. You can reverse the movement and come back the way you came. Or you can make the movement a little bit less every time you do it. And then a less again. And then less again. And if you practice these, voila, you have awareness. Now I'd like to speak a little bit about awakening awareness, the harmonic principle of three, and how I came up with the name, the harmonic principle of three. Recently, I taught the Enneagram class in Santa Barbara, where I live. And in so doing, I discovered that in order for me and my students to look at ourselves, which is what you do when you study the Enneagram, is you look at your personality, and therefore you look at your ego. And what I discovered in teaching that was in order to do that, we all need to practice loving ourselves a whole lot more. I also discovered that because I had so much awareness and that I practiced body awareness every day, in fact, what I teach is called awareness through movement, I discovered that I wasn't in balance. I discovered that my heart was not as loving as my body was aware. And I discovered that mentally I wasn't always as focused as I could be. And I wasn't always accepting the world as it is, what is kind of thing. And so I set out to practice more love in my heart and more acceptance and focus in my mind. And when I began to practice that, what I discovered was that with awareness in my body and love in my heart and acceptance in my mind, I was in harmony with myself and I was present to myself. And by being present to myself, I could experience the true joy of being human. Thank you. I hope we meet again. Let me remind you to look at that little booklet, because at the end of the booklet, there are some guidelines for healthy movement throughout life, and I really think they are useful. And you might find them useful too as you tweak yourself throughout the day, every day. I hope we meet again.